What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to talk about why tomorrow is going to be a massive day for Tesla when it comes to its price action, because Tesla did test that $940 level, and we're going to find out, is Tesla actually even stronger than some people expect? Is this thing going to just continue to rally all the way up to much higher levels, or is this thing going to get that rejection off 940? So I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to talk about what's going on with the overall market, with the data for Tesla, and also I have a very big update from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Elon Musk, as he has a big update involving the Tesla robots. Now, before I break anything down about Elon Musk, before I get into any more details about Tesla, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. Not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 10 free stocks, each worth up to $2,500. And the best part is, out of the 10 free stocks, 5 are going to come from the wheel right here, which means that you can win 5 free Tesla shares, 5 free AMC shares, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 2 weeks. Please check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So Tesla was up 3.1% for the day. It pushed up a little bit higher than I expected. I actually thought that Tesla would cap at about like $930 a share. It ended up going to almost $940, which is a very, very nice move. But this is where things become very interesting. So I mentioned to you guys that right now the market was coming very close to this greedy side. The market's getting very comfortable where it's at, which is awesome and all. But the one thing that kind of concerns me a bit is we might get a slight slowdown relatively soon. And I want to talk about why this is very important. So if we look at SPY real quick, SPY was in this rising wedge-like formation, is pushing up and up and up and up. And the next key resistance level would be around that $430 level. And we can see the SPY came very, very close to that. It capped at about $429 a share, and it might get a slight rejection, a slight cool off within the next couple of days, but it does look like it has a little bit more room to push up. So I'm not entirely like bearish from here. I want to talk about the Nasdaq as well. Very similar setup. It actually pushed above that $13,000 range. Very, very good sign. It's pushing up very strongly, but a bit of a pullback within the next like week or two is completely fine. It's probably going to happen. But when it comes to Tesla, it is going to be affected by this, but not to the extent some people are probably thinking. And here's one of the main reasons why I'm saying this. So if we look at data historically, I think I have this right here. Right here, if you look at this comparison between, I believe this is the SPY and Tesla. The blue line right here is the SPY. The white line would be Tesla. We can see when the SPY tends to rally, Tesla tends to rally with it. When it comes down, they tend to come down together, especially recently. When they push up together, they drop together and they push up together. So what I'm essentially seeing is, if the SPY does make a move to the downside in the next couple of weeks, it could affect Tesla at least somewhat. But I'm still a lot more bullish for Tesla than I am for the overall market, because we have a big piece of news, and that's the stock split coming out. So how may this end up affecting Tesla immediately? And I think that a lot of people are very excited, and they're starting to think that Tesla might just rally, you know, up to like $1,000 a share from here. And that is possible, right? If there is enough volume, if we're getting big pushes, it's actually possible for this thing to go all the way up to like 1,000 from here. But right now, I'm not seeing that happen as cleanly as some people would want. And I'm still a lot more optimistic. I do think this thing could actually head towards 1,000 if we get these big breaks. But right now, I'm a little bit concerned about something. So one of the things I mentioned to you guys is, if you zoom out of Tesla's chart, just to show you this, let me hide my drawings. I know they're kind of, they look weird sometimes. But anyways, when we look at Tesla, we have this nice cup and handle like formation, which is awesome, right? Now, the thing about this cup and handle is we have this kind of like triple rejection from Tesla. The first thing is we got a rejection around that $940 level in the past, like right over here. And then we actually came down, we pushed up to about 955, which would be the next key zone for Tesla if we break 940. Then we got a big rejection. And then what happened recently, I'm going to show you this. We pushed up all the way to 940. We were looking very strong. We got a huge rejection off 940 all the way down to about the 830s. Now today we pushed all the way up back to that $940 level, and we're going to see how this thing reacts from there. Now this does look more bullish than bearish though, because we do have this nice cup and handle forming. And with that said, it does look like this thing could push up a little bit more. But the one thing that looks a little concerning to me is the setup right now, because you could see this is a setup we're seeing throughout the market where we have this like gap up like this. We rally really hard, then we slowly start to come down. And as we come down, we start to fill the gap right over here. Now, I would really not like for that to happen, but if that is the case, these are some of the possibilities you should be well aware of, in my opinion. So this is going to be a little bit different from my, typical videos. What I'm essentially saying is, can we break 940? That's what you got to watch for tomorrow. 940 is very strong resistance. If we break that, I see this thing going to that $955 to $960 level. Now, if we get that rejection, which is very possible, right? Tesla's going to actually try to hold 925. If we can't hold that, this thing is going to come all the way back down to maybe that $915 level. If we come all the way down to that 915 level, it's very likely we actually might fill this gap all the way back down to the high 800s or even 900 from there. Now, I don't think that that's the end of the world, because we're essentially cooling off our technical indicators. Because if you look at the RSI on, let me just pull up the 2-hour time frame, you can see this thing pushed up really hard, and we actually pushed up to the same level, but the RSI is a little bit lower than the previous level from before, when this thing pushed up to 940 last time. This is an example of potential bearish divergence where RSI is actually losing some strength, even though we're going back to the same levels as before. And it's not that bad. It's just us kind of like dropping a little bit. It kind of looks like that is what's going to happen. If you look at our MACD, nice push up. We had some nice momentum, so it's not showing the momentum kind of flipping from here, but there are some signs of this potentially happening. So what I'm seeing right now is something awesome. All right. When stocks explode, when they go to like $1,000 a share, I do think Tesla could do that, but it may take like 2 weeks for us to get there. And I'm saying that because I think next week is going to be even more bullish for Tesla. This week, we may need to just kind of cool off just a little bit for a couple of days. There could be some red days. There could be some days where it comes down a bit. And I think that that's very likely for what we're going to see quite soon. Now, is it the end of the world? The answer is no. Still very bullish, but it is kind of looking like we got that rejection off 940, and we're going to start coming down just a bit from here, and we might actually fill this gap right over here as well. Now, can I guarantee this is going to happen? The answer is no, because if we break 940, if I'm surprised and that ends up happening, this thing could go all the way up to the 960s. I would be completely fine with that. And if it breaks past the 950s, this thing could actually go all the way up to 970 by like Wednesday if it's super, super bullish. But if we get that rejection, so far we got it. I mean, I can't guarantee it's going to hold this way, but it looks like that's what's going to happen. Then it's going to most likely start to come down to the low 900s. And that's what I'm essentially seeing as of right now. Now, could I be surprised? Could Tesla, completely surprise everyone and still rally again tomorrow? Of course it can, because if we look at what the data shows us, I think somewhere here it shows the days of the week where Tesla tends to move. You could see Monday tends to be the strongest day, and Tuesday tends to be more green than red typically, but not as strong as Mondays. But Wednesday and Thursday tend to actually cool off just a little bit more. So that's essentially what I'm seeing from here. I do think Tesla might just cool off a bit, which is completely fine. And if it's going to surprise me, that's completely fine. I'm totally okay with that. If you look at the options chain right now, there are actually a ton of calls out of the money. So we're not seeing any of the delta hedging from the market makers to really push this thing like much, much higher. So I do think this thing is set to kind of cool down just a little bit, and that's essentially what I'm seeing. When it comes to earnings, we do have a lot of big retail earnings coming as well. We have Walmart and Target actually reporting their earnings, which I think should be pretty fine, not necessarily too bad. But what's good about them is they give us a very good understanding of the consumer spending and different sentiments like that. So what I'm essentially seeing for Tesla right now is I really hope that this thing holds these levels very well. It's not about this thing just going, to 970, 980 to 1000, 1100. It's not about that. It's about, we want to get to high levels, but we want to hold them. We want to get used to these higher levels and slowly step our way up. Because if a stock goes up too fast, then it's most likely going to come down just as fast as well if it does these moves in a very unsustainable way. So with that said, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow what could happen is into open, Tesla might push up a bit like this. We might try to break past 940. I don't really know if we're going to break past it. So far, it's looking like we might get a rejection off this and kind of form a double top. but I could be wrong. Maybe we break past and go as high as the 950s, 960s, 970s. It's possible, but I just don't see that as of right now from the RSI and the other indicators. It looks more like this thing's going to actually start to cool off a bit throughout the day. It's going to try to hold 925. It might come a little bit red, and we might actually get a bounce around like 910, 915, bounce like this, and actually close around a little bit below 920, maybe like 917, 918. So I am seeing a slight red day for tomorrow. I do think this is going to come down, cool off its RSI a bit, and we might slowly throughout the week kind of come down and maybe fill this gap down here, right over here. And once we fill the gap, I do think we're going to get a really big bounce after that. And then we might test 940 for the third time sometime maybe by Friday, maybe next week. And then I see this thing just rallying past 940, going to 970, going past 1,000. I could see that actually happening thanks to the stock split. So with that said, for the super near term, I am a little bit more bearish, but for the medium term, which is like by next week, I'm a lot more bullish. I still think it's going to recover quickly, but I just think that it's completely healthy for it to cool off just for a little bit, and that's what I'm essentially seeing. Now, if I'm wrong, sometimes this thing could surprise you. Sometimes it makes unexpected moves, but as of right now, I am seeing something like this happening. Now, when it comes to what Elon Musk stated, Musk actually revealed more details about the Tesla robot, and he is talking about giving it to elderly parents as a gift. If we go down to the actual transcript, Elon Musk talked about how Tesla's planning on launching the first prototype of their humanoid robot this year and focusing on improving its intelligence to really solve problems and really improve their large scale production and actually work on more dangerous jobs. That's a very, very amazing thing that they're doing. And Musk mentioned that within the next couple of years, in the future, people will be able to buy a robot for their parents as a birthday gift. So I think that's a very cool thing Elon Musk said. I'm very excited for the long-term future, super long-term. I'm extremely, extremely bullish. But for the somewhat near term, for the very, very near term, I do think a bit of a cool off is completely fine. Even during these major, major bull runs, I could even give you guys an example of this. Let me actually show you this. Let me hide my drawings real quick. During these big runs, you guys could see when this thing began to soar up to 1,200 a share, there were some red days there. There's some red candles you guys could see on the daily chart. There were obviously more green ones, but there were some red ones as well. So it's completely normal to have some red days. And that's why I am anticipating this. Please remain calm, cool, and collected and get ready for tomorrow. So anyways, I'll be on the lookout for these levels, and let me actually bring back my drawings just to show you guys the key support and resistance levels one last time. If you are watching the chart, remember, if this thing pushes up, all right, past 940, 955, 960, 970, that's where this thing may end up kind of like capping at. If not, if this thing ends up kind of like pushing to the downside, like I had anticipated, this thing could actually come all the way down to that $925 level. If it gets a rejection off 925, I see it going all the way down to 910, hopefully bouncing off that. So slowly, it could actually come all the way back down to the high 800s, maybe 900 range, just to cool off a bit. But until then, I mean, it's just a small drop. It's not even like a 4 or 5% drop because we're at 927. It's just a small drop down like 4%, completely fine within the next 2 days. And after that, I do see a big bounce coming, and I do see the rally continuing once we really cool off, once we recharge and get ready. With that said, be prepared for anything, right? Sometimes this thing can surprise us, so I'm not guaranteeing that this will happen, but I want you guys to just be on the lookout for these levels and be ready. And with that said, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Tesla to the moon because the long-term future is bright, and peace out.